Mega Man Battle Network Operate Star Force is the DS remake of Battle Network 1 that we never got. Officially, it was only released in Japan, but unofficially, our friends at the Rockman EXE Zone have done a wonderful job translating and making the game available for anyone to play. For the most part, the game is identical to Battle Network 1. The coolest thing by far is the actual crossover with Battle Network and Star Force, and it all starts off with a prologue on the main menu. Really quick, it's gonna get confusing if I call both characters Mega Man, so I'm gonna do what Lan does in the actual game and call Mega Man Star Force Geo. So we start off in the Star Force 3 timeline. There's this future Navi Clockman who can't control time. He kidnaps Harp Note and escapes with her into the past, so it's up to Geo to save her and the day. However, there's no guarantee that he can return, and he's told he needs to keep a low profile to not cause any time paradoxes. Easy enough, right? No big deal. Well, Clockman wants a waifu, and he's not gonna settle for one. He also kidnaps Roll, and due to a misunderstanding, Lan thinks that Geo is the culprit. The two fight, and Geo loses, but I'm gonna take a second to say that Geo lost on purpose. He even says so in the game itself. He did not want to cause a time paradox. I don't want to see any YouTube videos from Death Battle or whatever telling me that Mega Man.exe is stronger than Geo. My man whooped a black hole. There is no way Windows 98 is ever beating a smartphone. Whatever. The BN heroes then move on to Clockman's area, but things get sticky when Mega Man falls into a trap and gets frozen in time. Thankfully, Lan and Geo are able to patch things up, and then the crossover officially begins. We need to find clock data from the real world in all these locations to free Mega Man from his trap and open up parts of Clockman's dungeon. There's a lot of backtracking to and from Clockman's dungeon. It's a little bit annoying, but to be honest with you, I really love the scenario. I was just geeking out the entire time, seeing my two favorite Mega Man just hanging out. Getting Lan and Geo together is already really cool, but it's easy to forget how funny Omegasys is. He gets riled up when Lan calls him Arm Navi, and he gets these really funny interactions you'd never think of, like this great scene with Dex. They basically just yell at each other all Dragon Ball Z style, except it's all over the phone, and the heroes are just at a total loss for words. So after rounding up all the clock data, you finally get to fight the creep Clockman himself, and right away, you can tell that he was made for the DS. From his gorgeous sprites, his fan-favorite summon attacks, and even that eerie clock that ticks behind him in the battlefield. Frankly, this fight was a lot of fun, and it looks amazing. It really makes you wish they did something similar for BN5 on the DS. The Star Force scenario is short and sweet. It's probably about an hour long from fighting Geo to defeating Clockman. It takes place about 80% into the main campaign, which is probably for the best because, wow, Geo is very strong. He adds a whole new layer to battles that's directly inspired by his Star Force series, right down to the music you hear and the same sound effects for shooting and charging. You rapid fire by holding B, and your buster will automatically charge on its own. But by far the biggest differences are being able to lock onto enemies and the ability to pull out a shield. These are pretty massive upgrades to Battle Network Mega Man. There might be more of a choice between the two Mega Man if there were maybe crosses or style changes to choose from, but since this is BN1, we're stuck with elemental shields for power-ups, which, yeah, that's not very fun. Look, Geo is so good, I purposely went back to using regular Mega Man just to have more of a challenge in the game. And this wouldn't be a problem if there were maybe new areas to explore, or maybe a post-game scenario, something really long and meaty that took advantage of Star Force and its abilities, but nope, it is just Battle Network 1. Having no new post-game was such a missed opportunity in a series known for having amazing post-games. I would have loved to see Mega Man fight some Star Force bosses in the Battle Network style, or how about literally anything? Instead, we got the Star Colisseum, which is probably fun with real people. From what I can tell, you basically just drop a bunch of bombs on base as he chases you down. You only get 2 lives, and you'll die instantly if base touches you, or if you hit your own bombs. It doesn't seem like Proto Man's sword or Mega Man's buster affects him at all either. They probably, I don't know, affect each other in multiplayer. Like I said, it could be fun with real people, like maybe there are other modes that are interesting, but overall, I was not at all impressed. What did impress me, though, was the quality of life updates to Battle Network 1. Having star codes is a massive improvement. It makes the early game with its janky folders and chip codes so much more fluid and enjoyable. And the maps. Look, Battle Network 1 internet areas are awful. They look the same and they're abysmal in every single way. But having a touchscreen map is a massive improvement. Now, you don't get a map for the real world, which is pretty unfortunate because I will never understand Den City. But hey, I'll take what I can get. Operate Star Force is a much better experience for Battle Network players. I really wish they included this on the Legacy Collection as a better starting off point for people who are new to the series. In fact, I probably wouldn't have made that video bashing BN1 in the first place, but it really makes you wonder, Capcom, who was your intended audience for this game? If you're a veteran player, there is some novelty to revisiting the very first story, but without transformations or new areas to explore, just feels lacking. And I'm not sure that a brand new player will get excited by the Star Force crossover. I don't know, I'm always happy to play a Battle Network or a Star Force game, but there's so much missed potential here that it's really hard to overlook. Operate Star Force is better than Battle Network 1, but that's not really a high bar to clear. If Demi decides has to pick pass or play, I would probably say watch this YouTube video giving you all the exclusive Star Force content and pass. See you next time.